Thank you for listening to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please support the show by subscribing to and leaving a 5-star rating for the show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also support the show by going to our website, blackandgoldhockey.com, where there's always exciting articles by the B&G writing staff. While you're there, don't forget to click on the fanatics.com banner for a great sports fan shopping experience.
Hey, are you done yet? We gotta start the show.
Behind the net to Sanderson. Scores for the Boston Bruins.
30 seconds left in the period. The Bruins are shorthanded. Ray Bourque from the face-off circle to the right of Reggie Whitman. Fired it down and Whitmore blew it.
Did he ever?
To Bergeron on the drive, save, rebound, he's loose. Sagan kicks him loose. Bergeron scores! Patrice Bergeron with the point of the dagger in their throats. They rip it out of Toronto's hands and kill the beast. The Boston Bruins have won it after being 3 down in the third.
Hey, Bruins fans, welcome back to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. This is episode 225, and it's brought to you by betonline.ag. Go to betonline.ag and use that code CLNS50. That's CLNS50 for a sweet bonus. A bonus when you get your sign up for your first account and you make your first deposit. We're recording episode 225 on April 25th, 2021, and it's been a busy week in Boston Bruins land. But before we get to all that, I want to bring in my friend Heather Ingerson. She's been away for a couple of weeks, and I'm super stoked to have her back and talk about what's going on recently surrounding this Boston Bruins organization. So Heather, welcome back, and how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Glad to be back with you. So much crap has been going on, and we haven't really talked about it. So I'm really, really happy to be back talking Bruins hockey with you. But things have been all right. I know you've been having a nice week hanging out with your boys over there at your father's house with them. I love them. It's so cute with the dogs. You're a dog person, and it's always fun to see you so happy when you're around them. But yeah, things are all right. We both got our first vaccination. Things were good this weekend. Productive 48 hours, I think. You got the sticker, and so 3 weeks from today when we're recording.
May 15th.
Yeah, and then we'll be all vaccinated, and then we're going to go out and have beers, man. I mean, I'll still wear my mask or whatever we have to do, but leaving the house feeling a little more secure on that.
We'll definitely do what we have to do with the mask and situation and abide by the state, the CDC, whatever rules we have to do. But I'm still looking forward to getting out and doing some stuff. I could have gone out and so on. I'm not totally against it, but I also wanted just to get the vaccination, have a little bit of comfort. A little bit of a comfort zone before I go out into mass public and rip it up. So it doesn't stop me from ripping it up at home either. So, but no, it's going to be good to we're getting the steps back to normalcy, and it's so important for everybody to get back because everybody is pretty much on edge at this point. It's just let's go, let's fucking go, Yeah. But no, I've been good. Getting to me. I know you didn't ask yet, but no, it's been fun, and I love the dogs. I'm a huge dog guy, especially Boston Terriers. They are absolutely my favorite, and it's got a lot to do with Boston being in it. But they're great dogs. They're loyal and so on. And this is my vacation so far. It's just this. It's these two just sleeping all the friggin' time. So, and this is how I can't get any work done because I got the laptop and everything on there. So, but no, it's been good.
For the record, I was going to ask you, but then you were saying May 15th, and I didn't want to, you know what I mean? You talked the COVID, and then you swung back around. So I don't want you to think I was being rude.
No. It's been a while since we talked, so you know me and the whole anxiety freaking thing when we do these shows. So I'm all out of whack. But getting back into the show. So we are back, loving it, love having my Heather back, and we're going to start going because we got a huge agenda to tackle. So, and by the way, thank you very much for doing all of the agenda because of my stay on vacation at my dad's house. So I truly appreciate that. So why don't you go right ahead and show us the way, Heather?
Okay, well, I was thinking we just catch up a little bit. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks, right? We haven't even talked about the trade deadline, right? What was it? What was it like for you when you found out that we actually won a trade deadline? Or really, how long has it been since you woke up on a trade deadline day and was like, "Oh my God, meaningful change, meaningful change"?
Most of the time, when around these times, especially when Don Sweeney does anything, it was. And I'm not discrediting him as a general manager at all, but it's just more or less the next day is always like a kind of a shake my head moment, like what just happened. Ronaldo for a third rounder. That's kind of stupid, but we could nitpick all we want about Don Sweeney's past, but this one particularly was a home run because it addressed several different avenues about this Boston Bruins organization that we've talked about many times on this program, and this season, and even last season. Maybe there was a lack of grit that was in the playoffs and during the regular seasons in the past. That got addressed with Curtis Lazar, a left shot defenseman, and from Ottawa's Mike Reilly. I think that's his name. Mm-hmm. Mike Reilly. Yeah, Mike Reilly. That was a great addition, and what an impact that guy has made to that defensive core in game one. So, and then obviously the Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall is just a world-class player. He still is, even though people think that he's on the decline and so on. I think that what he did in Buffalo was totally off. I mean, I think he got paid. He definitely got paid and got what he wanted for that 1 year. But the thought of him going there to showcase off his skills and be that number one free agent this coming off season to jack the market price up was a failure in that side of the coin. But when you want to add another winger to the Boston Bruins lineup, another impactful scorer, we got it. This is a home run right here, and I was actually really surprised about the what we had to give up. I mean, I'm a huge Anders Bjork fan. I believe in his talent, but it's not there yet. It's still coming, I believe. It's just got to be more implemented. But at this point, the Boston Bruins organization, led by Don Sweeney, and maybe even coaching staff, got it all together and just said, he's a high price commodity right now that could be flipped in a trade for somebody, and it worked out. So happy about Taylor Hall coming to the organization and how much of an impact he made right there. And obviously he's got more points than he did in 38 games with Buffalo in his short stint with Boston. So this is an A+ for me because it addressed so many needs. I still think that we're missing a couple of other pieces for that Stanley Cup run, but I will go back and double down and just let you know, and the listeners and the YouTubers on here, that what we're seeing now it probably exceeds my expectations altogether. So
I definitely went to bed on the 11th, mad at Don Sweeney for the first time in 40 years of my life or whatever that he's been involved. No, maybe not that much, but it was very painful. We were getting our asses kicked and I shut off the game. I was like, I can't watch this game anymore. I went to bed thinking, dear God, please make it stop. And I woke up the next morning and many of my dreams came true, where, we've been debating, are we going to rebuild or what are we doing? We can't, there wasn't enough. And we learned that our depth wasn't enough, just not to be an asshole. I said so, but, and I woke up and first of all, Taylor Hall was home. Come home to mama, Taylor. Come home to mama. What? Taylor Hall got traded. Thank you, Don Sweeney. A personal thank you. You got me a defenseman left shot. Thank you. Okay. We're getting a little less aggravated about and again, it's not about Chara and Krug leaving. It's about the not shoring up the left side when they did, thank you again. Immediate impact. And David Krejci, he thanks you too, Don Sweeney. He thanks you too, because he finally has two wingers. We'll talk about a little, but this is, it's sexy. We're back to playing sexy hockey. And like you
Great
said, I
word.
don't know if we're ready for a cup run, but at least we look like the Bruins again. And that makes me happy because even before we were super struggling before the trade deadline, there was something missing this whole year, no matter how many times people want to explain it, injuries, this and that. No, something's gone with the Magic, and sprinkle a couple things. And I would like to mention Lazar is also been that's Lazar, right? So he's been playing center, looking better than some of the other centers on this team, let me tell you. But also, I do want to just one last thing before we move on, because this was an A+ trade. I mean, smooches to Donnie and all around coaching staff, all the people that make these decisions when you go into this. But we do love Anders Bjork, and he seems very comfortable in Buffalo. He got acclimated right quick and seems to be part of their boy, which is good for him because you're right. He has not yet begun to reach his potential. We've both been big advocates of him, but this is a situation like we talked about. All we have is assets. Like, you're not going to trade David Krejci as much as people think that just dumping his salary. That was the biggest thing for me on this. And Buffalo ate most of the rest of the salary too.
Yeah, win-win. And the first round pick wasn't involved, which I automatically thought that was going to be when you garner a trade for Taylor Hall. And nope, they swung it. And I mean, it's a second round pick, but that's fine. You know, I mean, I think that you still need to replenish the prospect pool. That pick is important, but and I'm also on the side of it's a very, very incumbent draft this year, if that's the word that I could possibly use. I'm not totally sure on that. Not a word guy, but it's you know, to me, you're not going to know what you're going to get because it's just a pandemic world. We're not able to travel and see what's going on in the developmental world of hockey and so on. And leagues are shutting down. And, you know, the Ontario Hockey League, done. They're done. Yeah. They just can't do it. So, it's a very, very just weird time for me considering that obviously, you know, it's a pandemic. I think everybody is home safe and, you know, sorry for the lost ones and everything like that, first and foremost, above sports. But, you know, when it comes to the draft, it's like, damn, man, you just don't know what you're going to get. And I'm not an expert at this, but I'm just going along with what many others have said, either on Twitter or the vast amount of freaking hockey podcasts that I listen to on a regular.
Yeah. It is different. Also bring up the Women's Worlds got canceled. And
Halifax.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what? Come on, man. Get this freaking shit over with. Now I got my first vaccine. And I'm just like, all right, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, we're going to be in the Garden, whether we have to sell a liver or not. Yeah. Someone's liver, not ours, but we're going to be there in the fall. Because of the pandemic, I didn't get to bring Eric to his first game when he turned 5. He's been waiting. He's on, you know, so he's had to wait 2 years, but I would like to bring him to his first opening night, you know.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So that was big. Tuukka Rask, 300th win. Yay, Tuukka. I'm sure that was a proud moment for you. You love the Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, it was that was about time because it was just every time that he had the opportunity to do it, it just came up as a total mess. But with the injuries and this and that, it's just good to have him in the fold. Ty Anderson wrote an article not too long ago about Tuukka and potentially not being at 100%, which could be a concern moving forward. But from what I've seen so far, I think it's load management that Bruce Cassidy is taking with this team, and moving forward, that's the way it's going to be. And hopefully he gets to 100% before the playoffs. I mean, we're talking 13, 14 games away, so still a lot of time. If the idea of Swayman and Halak is a little more to get him that rest, I'm good for it. I mean, Swayman's been just unbelievable. We'll talk about him later on, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not, you know, I tweet things, but I'm not really huge on the social media because there's a reason I didn't have social media for the first 20 years of its existence, because I don't want to get in the shit, you know, like it's a dumpster fire. I have a big mouth and I'm not fighting the fight unless I feel I need to, kind of thing, you know. But I just tweet, you know, Tuukka Rask is a Bruins legend, whether you like it or not. #facts. Suck it up. How many years, like, Tuukka, does he have bad games? Yeah. Is he a human? Yeah. Is he got a strange personality? You know, yeah. But he is fucking a legend.
You can see, and without the Stanley Cups and everything like that, I know I'm probably gonna get hammered for this comparison, but Patrick Waugh was a friggin' nutcase, okay? And he was legendary. I mean, and this is pretty, without the Stanley Cups, obviously, this is what we're seeing in him. Crazy goaltenders happen, and even Patrick Waugh had many bad games. I know a couple where Cam Neely just absolutely lit that Patty Waugh ass up all the time.
I was very happy about it. I was very happy about it.
And then, every goaltender has bad days. It's just the narrative of we need to direct all our hate to one area, which is always a certain type of area of a team, like the quarterback, the pitcher, and the goaltender in hockey. And I don't know basketball. What would it be in basketball? Point guard?
I don't know. Maybe like a point guard. Yeah, I think basketball is a little different than the rest, where you have the one person. But I would say probably your point guard, right? Because if they're not doing their job, then you're probably not very productive.
I actually have no idea, so I don't know if that's true or not. But we are not a basketball podcast. Let's move on.
Okay. Just to revisit again, super fucking sexy second line action happening this week. No Blue Chew needed on this. Just like, look at us. We have 2 actual lines. Woo, woo.
Right. I know it's pumped.
Yeah. Like I said, I just love it. So that was just a quick thing. That's happened since we last talked. We have a second line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, not to go. I know it's a little redundant, but I just have to say it. Oh, it's so awesome. I love it. I can't. I know. I'm like Adam Sandler. It's so hot.
I'm playing that GIF in my head right now.
And I feel like, I mean, I know that there are other people who love David Krejci. I don't feel anyone besides his wife, his parents, and family, and maybe Chris Blackie loves David Krejci the way I do. I have always been for 10 years like, dude,
Blackie's got a major kickstand over the addition of Taylor Hall and the resurgence of David Krejci. And I'm honestly, this is like a preseason for David Krejci. Like these 15, 20 games that he's going to be playing with Taylor Hall is seriously, it's like we're gearing up for playoff Krejci. This is what we see in the playoffs. So this time and how it's being inserted right now is just huge moving forward. The secondary scoring issue, if that continues to the end of the season and into the playoffs, that's just going to launch this Boston Bruins team to a whole nother level when it comes to like goal differential against certain teams. It's fun to see. Now let's filter that down and get our third line involved a little bit, and we'll talk about certain somebody later on.
Somebody's in our lineup that we love dearly, but really are baffled about. I understand that. Yeah, the Bruins, we have depth. We beat the Islanders twice. That's a quick mention.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Twice. And like just beat them, like actually outplayed them, beat them, not fool around.
Well, right. And the first game with basically the whole crew of additions that came in via the trade deadline, started in Buffalo with a shootout win. And I thought that even though they were new and they were getting acclimated to the team and so on, I think the Boston Bruins core should have been more on their game to get a better result than a freaking shootout win. But it's a win. It's a W. Moving forward, you bring that game, which was a little amazement to me. You had a day off to practice fully and so on again. And then you go and play 2 back-to-back against the New York Islanders, who you have not beaten at all this season. 5 straight wins, regardless if you got a point or not out of them. They were losses on the column. And you turn this around to find now in my opinion, and I don't mean to ramble here, in my opinion, the New York Islanders for 5 straight games before this back-to-back, they were the exposer. They were exposing the Boston Bruins so bad, especially on a weekend defense because of injuries. But those 2 back-to-back games, the Boston Bruins were the exposee. They were exposing the awful defense that the Islanders could show. I mean, defense is good. I'm just saying, in those particular games, Bruins were pretty much going sometimes at a straight line, which had that defense weirded out because opposing teams in this division are used to seeing them on the wide side working their way in and extending the goal line. This Boston Bruins team, when they went to play the Islanders, I saw at least, and it's my opinion, that I saw more middle play and a much more structured game offensively. And, there were times that there were bad periods, but they made up for that too. Yeah, no,
that week after the trade deadline was definitely wow, like the wind and the sails got picked up a little bit. Like you said, it doesn't matter if you get a point or not, because when it gets to the playoffs, if we're playing the Islanders, like they were like the biggest ones. I didn't want to, like, I figured we could figure anybody else out in the first round, but not the Islanders, because they had our number. Like you said, even if we'd get momentum, they would make us look like weak against another good team. It's very strange. Like we've had pretty even series versus Washington, back and forth a few, but yeah, that was very good. Also, this is just a random thing before we maybe start recapping the games a little from the last week. I mean, sorry, I was skipping over in my head. Before we start getting to the next topic, but Bergeron scored the 21,000th goal of franchise history, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of goals. I mean, sure, they're one of the oldest, teams or whatever, but still, that's kind of pretty awesome. So. Again, Bergeron, he is like when he went in the box the other day, someone said St. Patrice is not guilty of any infractions ever. Amen. Like that's true. Okay. But on a sad note though, I didn't hear you mention it when you did your solo show last week. So I just thought it's still pretty timely. So let's bring it up. Johnny Pearson passed away at the age of 95 last week. And I know there's a lot of Bruins fans out there because, we're a little older, but he played for the Bruins 12 seasons, had pretty good numbers. He played a total of 445 games with the Bruins, 326 points. But most, especially our generation, we know him from his broadcasting ability. In 1969, he joined WBZ, which has always been like kind of the hub station of sports in Boston. And him and Cusack, I mean, just the sounds of my childhood. It was fun listening to people post clips. So anybody who's listening that may be under the age of 35, definitely go back. I know you think Jack and Brick and, Bob Beer or whatever thing, but classic, just the sounds of my youth. WSBK.
Yes. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, everybody nowadays in the digital world and, with the way they watch hockey games, are going to gravitate to Brick and Edwards. But, it's a generational thing. Those guys learn from these guys, the Derek Sandersons, the Fred Cusacks, and Johnny Pearsons. I love the way my dad. I wrote an article about this. I remember when the TV 38 song would go off, I would be spinning my wheels in my bedroom because I was supposed to be in bed, to come down and just like slide right in front of the TV right at 7 o'clock to hear Fred Cusack and Derek Sanderson call the game and have Johnny Pearson doing the analysis of what went wrong or what was good, the positives, negatives, and so on the old screen, which was all like pixelated and so on. It was great. But that's how everybody learns. It's a passed down generation of how you teach the game and how you relate it to the fans. And those guys were just really good at how they did. They got me, they got my dad, and it just, it was just a really good experience growing up with those guys. To be honest, I didn't know that he was still alive. I haven't really thought of Johnny Pearson much, but when you see that on Twitter, it's like, oh man. But 95, man, good on him. And thoughts go out to his family and friends and networks that he worked with, and he was just really good. And he was a really good golfer. He was really good golfer. And I said that in the article too, but no, but just a great guy, class act, and a hell of a Bruins player. I mean, he's an all-star, I believe, once or twice, and a full Bruin through and through from the lower leagues of development back in the day when Bruins like owned leagues in Canada just to pick talent like Montreal did in Quebec, in Ontario and so on.
He played for the Boston Olympics a season too. He played 12 with the Bruins, but he played two, I think, with the Hershey Bears too, right?
Hershey Bears were awesome, and that's when the Hershey Bears were a part of the Boston Bruins affiliation. I mean, Hershey's